Hello, beautiful souls. Hello, hello. This is Reshma Yeshura, Pleiadian Queen Mother, Galactic Queen Mother here of the Lighthouse 333. This is Galactic Queen Talks podcast. It is my first podcast of 2026. If you can see me, if you're watching the video, or if you can hear me on the podcast, I do sound different. I was really wanting to postpone the whole podcast situation because I am wearing braces. I don't know how much longer I have, but they actually make it difficult for me to talk as clearly and as nicely as I want to. So I also get a lot of saliva in my mouth. So yes, I really wanted to postpone doing this, but my guides and everyone, they just keep, reminding me like, hey, don't forget about your podcast. And so I'm back. One of the major reasons why I'm back is to just quickly go over some major things. Number one, major discussion is about disclosure. As we all know, there is a movie coming out called Disclosure Day. I am actually going to watch it to see what the message is that the mainstream media, the entertainment industry of Hollywood is trying to project into the human being's consciousness. Um, those who are awake versus those who are asleep will receive the movie in a different way. Those of us who are awakened and who know that yes, there are uh, extraterrestrial life beings, aliens, extraterrestrial life forms, and things, extraterrestrial things that are existing on the planet and have been existing on the planet for since the beginning of time, and they've just been hiding it from us. And we are going through actual disclosure, and our real physical reality is just looking a little different. A lot of people have been whistleblowing for years. I'm talking about early 2000s. Um, there have been many other people who have had platform on YouTube. Uh, Rest in peace, David Wilcock, a person who's been just a part of disclosure from the beginning, has passed, and we all know there's a big, issue around that. A lot of scientists, whistleblowers, they are missing or dying, things like that is happening. And, you know, we are in the time of the Great Awakening. If you look at the definition of the apocalypse, it is things that are uncovered becoming things that were covered becoming uncovered. So the apocalypse isn't that the world is going to, explode and we're all going to, die, the sun's going to explode, the earth's going to die, all that. This is not the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of a time on earth, the end of the control of the human mind, and the end of the lies and the illusion of what we all think this world is. So I do talk about this on my many other platforms almost every year, and I just try to help those who are not fully awakened yet, be okay with hearing this information so that when disclosure is happening, like how it's happening now, and you know, telling us that aliens are real and unidentified flying objects are real. We have them, we've dissected them. We know how to create our own UFO type flying object, that's all old news, and we've just been hiding it from you guys because we don't want you guys to know that there's more. They don't want us to know that there's more to this life. They want us to be a controlled mechanism, like a human slave that eventually will become a human robot slave, where they're just controlling us by cues. So we are part of the ascension timeline right now, and that ascension timeline means that we are awakening and we can no longer be used as human slave, human robot slave, whatever that timeline is that we're breaking free from, where the human being is not free and the human being is just like a physical being with some type of consciousness that can be manipulated and used to grow an empire, that these elite reptilian draconian uh so there's a group of them, and a negative AI wants to control this earth, and um we are actually freeing Mother Earth. Yes, all of this whole universe is considered living. Things that we are seeing in our day-to-day life is a living being. It's God in its physical existence. So Mother Earth is a divine feminine earth. It's an entity that was created by the creator God, right? And so it is a living thing that has all aspects of it is seen as God. So the trees are carrying God's frequency, the grass, the water, the air, the living things that are truly organic are, you know, um, carrying God's um, frequency and God's soul, God's energy. Everything, the universe is God. Like everything comes from one source of energy, and that source of energy is God. So we are supposed to be experiencing what it's like for God to be in a physical form that is upright, mobile, and fully conscious, and having the memory of life and all emotions, the memory of the past and all emotions, and the experience of being in a physical form. Because what is God? God is energy. God is a frequency and has no form. So everything that is created is the form that God is seeking to be. And so therefore, there had to be a process in creating the form, from the most smallest entity to what we are now. Think about all the things that God created, all the planets, all the universes, all the galaxies, and all the living beings of those places. They exist. They had to have, we have to have come from the experiment of what creation is, what God is in a physical form. And as you know, there are many living beings in different places in the universe and even on this planet that don't have a physical form, but they have a consciousness and they have um, an ability to live here, but they don't hold a physical form. But when they go to their home, where they, come from, whatever planet or density or dimension or wherever they reside in, they they see their own form. They see others that carry their own form. It's hard to explain something that's so deep, right? Because it's so broad. But you can't sit here and believe that me, myself, and I only have this one life and I'm only going to be here this one time and that's it. And this is the only living thing that's here on the planet, or in the universe. This is the only life that's in the universe. No, there's no way that we are the only living thing. Just think about how we learned about evolution on the planet, to where it was like there was a cell in the water, and nothing came from the land. It all started from the water, from what I remember being taught in school. And it was like a just like a amoeba, bacteria, whatever, and searching for food. It's just one consciousness that's like just eat. Like it doesn't have like and it has just the sixth sense that it has to eat and procreate somehow. And then it becomes like a tadpole that's like all these other type of like frogs and fish, and then the walking fish, and then that thing becomes this and that. So just if we are considered the ultimate physical being, child of God, okay, the end point of what God is creating, let's just say we're the end point of a physical uh expression and experience that God can have. What process did God have to go through to get to this point? There are many one-dimensional uh, things that were created, then second dimensional, then third dimensional, and fourth dimensional, and fifth dimensional, and on and on and on. So it's just to explain to you that there's no way in the history of existence that we are the only living thing. If we have these animals that actually came from uh an evolutionary process as well, which we do not see here on the planet. Where did these animals come from? I will tell you, they've came from other planets. These animals that we have, they've come from other planets, okay? Earth was created, and this is how I explain Earth. Earth was created to be the educational planet of physical reality, of emotions, of all frequencies, and all the ultimate of everything like that was cultivated. So every element that was ever created is in Earth. The minerals in the soil, the blades of grass, the trees, the many different species of trees, the water makeup is from other planets, okay? The the elements of the air, the oxygen that we breathe, which is a mixture of things, um, it's all coming from other planets of existence that God experienced, and a whole culmination of creation that God created experience. And they were like, we have to create this planet where everything we've known, everything that we already created can exist here. So all the animals are from different planets. The environment was created for them to exist. And we are here. We were created through many DNA experiments with the many life forms that were created as a upright Homo sapien, human being. Because think about it, the lower consciousness beings are animals and insects, multiple legs, multiple, uh, they're not really upright. The closest thing to like us standing upright is the monkey, chimpanzee, gorilla thing, right? And then they say, oh, our DNA is the closest to that, but there's a reason for it. Just creating what what the universe needed to hold the consciousness of God. We are here to hold the consciousness of God, the memory, and continue the memory of God. So the creator, the energy of the universe, wants to be able to be in a physical form that can be at the highest consciousness. This is standing upright and also has to do with our the number of fingers, the number of toes, the way our feet, everything about us has a purpose of why we were built this way. Everything has a meaning. Everything has a reason. And the universe, all of these beings that you think are not existing, that you think they're just aliens or just like a story that people have been creating, these beings have been monitoring us and watching us and seeing what they created to see how we're doing, to see, are we following the path of awakening? Are we doing what we came here to do? And of course, our path to awakening was stopped many times because there is a controlled group of people that just want to, people, beings, entities, a negative, uh, I will say the words, it is a negative group of life, life forms that God created. God created these beings, and they turned and they said there has to be a control. And because they wanted to put a control on the project, they they were like, oh, we can control these people to, or humans, whatever they called us back then, we can control them to do our work. And it's just been them trying to control us. And the way that they control us is that we don't have a memory when we're born. When we're born, we're not supposed to remember who we were before. And then they can control our environment, what we eat, what we drink, what we see, and they can tell us the reality that they want us to live in and do the things that they want us to do. And then we will live in like these weird movies that you see where there are people like literally like robots, and then you can even see yourself before you were awakened. It was almost like you were a robot. I gotta wake up. I gotta get dressed and go to work. I gotta be a good employee because I gotta get paid. And then I have to go pay my bills and I gotta go do what everybody does on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and then go back to work. And the things that you bought were because commercials were telling you, I gotta use this because the commercials tell me this is the one I gotta use. So they saw how far they could control the human. They saw, and they are still trying, even though the light has won. We are on an ascension process. A lot of people are awakening. A lot of people are becoming sovereign and free and pulled out of the matrix and living their actual, true, authentic life, even though they're still part of the matrix, seeing all the crap that's going on. They're not in it. They're not participating in it. They're not participating in what the universe, not the universe, what the controllers want to have them to keep doing, which is being part of the the narrative of like the fighting between each other and the fighting, arguing, constantly living in fear of our lives for X, Y, and Z, war, food, um money, whatever it is that they want. They want you to stay distracted and they want you to stay in fear and stay in the fight or flight mode because then you're easily controlled when you're like this. So those of us who are awakening and we know that there's a big disclosure coming and it is happening, it's trickling little by little. It's just to actually really and truly open your eyes to the fact that I know this hurts, but everything you've been told and everything you've been taught and everything you've experienced was a lie. And you have to you have to have a good support system of people that can help you deal with that because you go through a cognitive dissonance where you don't want to believe anything. I mean, you go through a process of like, what is the point of life? Why am I even freaking here? You go through like, why are we going through this? Like, why am I here? Like, you don't want to be here. And then some people actually, if they don't have the support, they want to leave. They end up, doing those things where they end their life. And or some people just go kind of cuckoo and they can't take it no more and they go run off into the wilderness and they're hiding from Big Brother because they're like, oh, everybody's watching me, whatever. But you're being watched in a way, no matter what. You've got your spirit guides watching you, you've got your angels and your dragons and your unicorns by you all the time. I mean, there's nothing, it's hard to be bothered by, oh, people are watching me because people you're being watched. I mean, you're watching yourself in a way. So wow, I'm doing this big old talk because I want to see the movie, what they're calling Disclosure Day. What are they going to manipulate the collective into believing? Because the movie will always put a message and some type of fear into the human to fear like the extraterrestrial. Like we're getting disclosure little by little. We're finding out that there's extraterrestrials, right? People are now. I know a lot of us awakened folk from years ago already know this. A lot of us awakened folk have seen UFOs, have been probably abducted, or have memories of talking with the alien life form or whatever. Like that's old news. We know that there is extraterrestrial life, right? But there are people who were so blind and cheap and like so brainwashed in the Matrix that when they find out little by little about like alien life, they're just like, man, it's a joke. They they don't know how to take it. They don't understand it. And then they're gonna watch this movie called Disclosure Day. Like every movie ever created by Hollywood was like, fear these aliens because they're trying to take over the world and they're gonna like battle us and we're gonna die, right? So that was every movie, like we're fighting aliens, but reality is those negative aliens that want to hurt us have been here already doing the work to hurt us for a millennia. So the ones that are above us, flying around, coming around us, sending helpers around the planet, those are the good guys. They want to help. They've been watching us and they want to help, but they can't interfere. But little by little, they're reminding us of who we are by showing up in our consciousness in the skies. And we're seeing it, we're in awe, and we're like, oh my gosh, like, who is that? What do they, what are they trying to say? Where are they going? You know, and this disclosure movie, I have no idea. It looks like they want to show that we're going to be like attacked by aliens or something. I don't know. But we are little by little. I know there was like this website that the White House created to like help people go and like read all the articles or whatever of like the disclosure that they have available for, alien life form and all that stuff. But really and truly, if you want to know, everything is like there are people that have been talking about this for years. There's Michael Salla, there's um David Wilcock, there's Stephen Greer, there's so much. Just, if you look up Contact in the Desert, if you look up, Bashar, David Anka, Daryl Anka, and there's just a lot of people that have channeled or have expressed their experience um, with the knowledge of alien life that they have. I mean, there's ancient aliens on freaking TV for years now that show. This is not new. It's been in our consciousness, but people have just been so busy with life and being like in fight or flight mode, you can't even think to say, I want to understand life a little more. I want to understand my experience a little more. I want to understand who I am, why I'm here. Like, what is the whole reason for this experience? Or just life, period. Like, what the hell's going on? Why are we going to churches and churches are telling us that there's no such thing as aliens and aliens are just the devil's chariots that go around the earth, fire chariots around the earth. Like, it's just so dumb that the the church, they cannot provide an answer. And I recently heard somewhere that these high level people, like, will call, I'm assuming it's the Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church was number one in the control movement of the human. So the Catholic Church, like the head of the Catholic Church, or maybe other churches, but like heads of really big congregations or whatever you want to call it, I don't know, they're being like told about disclosure, um, and what to tell the people. So if you think about churches, they're run by the state. You cannot have a church and not follow the church, like the rules of the state. You have to follow, like, you can't talk about certain things in church according to the rules when you sign up. When you open a church and you sign up with the state so you could get your tax documents, so blah blah blah, you have to follow the rules. You you can't just like freely teach what spirit is telling you. So you can't trust the church, period. And there's just so much happening besides disclosure. There's a lot, you see a lot of fighting out there, like a lot of different views. There's like religious problems, like not just with the Christianity, but like the Islam group, that there's a bunch of them, you know, saying that it's a great religion, and then there's the other half that's like trying to kill everybody and hurt all the women and children. So it's just going to show you that we're in a time right now where everything is coming to light. The truth about religions, the truth about what is really existing out there and with us, and who we are will all be eventually unraveled, but it is an individual journey, and sometimes it's hard for people to ask for help, and sometimes it's hard for people to admit that they're different or they feel different or that they want to do something different. They don't want to continue on the path that they're on, but they're so afraid of rejection from society, people, places, things, that they just stay in the same little bubble. And that is control. That is an ego control that was put into us, humans, so that we don't break free from the control. So there's a lot going on. People are going through so much around the planet. Ego issues, health, body issues, um, emotional roller coasters, friends, family, and other relationship issues. Just because it's all tied to karma as well. And it's just a hodgepodge of disclosure and your personal disclosure. It's the universal disclosure. It's a lot. So, I'll be back with my next video with regards to what the hell is that movie that they're putting out to society, to the collective. I'll be back with that. I know. I can go on, and it's really hard for me to stop. It's really hard for me to stay on track because everything is tied to everything. So I apologize, but I hope you're able to follow. I really truly love you all who are listening and watching. You are a beautiful being of love and light. You are love. You are loved. You are love. Even me saying this right now, I hope you understand that the frequency of love is God. You are that. You are that love. And if you want to talk about God in the religion texts of like Christianity, they said, for God loved the world that he gave his only son. Isn't that, when you think about it, he gave his self. And what was his self? What was Jesus like? Jesus was like the ultimate love, right? So Jesus was an example for humans to truly understand what they are. He wasn't somebody that we were supposed to be in awe of and say he's the only one that could do these things. He was the example of which we were to understand who we are. We have the ability to heal. We have the ability to solve problems and connect with God because we are God. As he was God in flesh, we are God in flesh. Okay? So that's the whole reason for Jesus. And there are many reasons. uh, I can talk about Jesus as like he was crucified or he wasn't crucified, but he actually did exist. That was real. It was something that did come into actual reality. Like it was not just a story. He did exist because he was this light of Christ consciousness in the physical, and he was downloading and putting that light into the consciousness of his followers. It was an awakening in the time of Pisces, of which he came down. And that awakening could only do so much. The earth was so dark at that time with the control and everything. And now we're out of the Piscean age and we're in the time of Aquarius. We're in the Aquarian age. This is the song that you grew up listening to. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Like people, the hippy dippies, they knew this, they learned this. This was not new information. We're moving from a time of darkness into a time of light and a time of knowledge and a time of incorporation of everything that we've learned with knowledge and with love. We are doing a big work in this time. So I love you, and I will end it there. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, leave comments, questions, thoughts of outrage, whatever. Um, and reach out to me if you would like some type of service. Um, I do appreciate anything that you can do to get the message out. Thank you.